gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Well, good morning, my beautiful coffee beans. It's extremely cold outside, but it is hump day.
Yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
If you are up ridiculously early this morning, come on in and sit on down.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason, though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up.
Well, good morning, Michelle. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betting Channel.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up, really gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
another freaking cold day. Just saying, it's a cold day. And I still got freaking work to do. So we get up early. I'm dressed, I brushed my teeth, I got my coffee made. And we got a lot to go over. It's nice to see some of you guys getting dressed and ready for work with the old bets. Well, good morning. Good morning, loves. It's nice to see you, Melanie, Eeyore. It's nice to see you, Denise. Good morning. Grave, Crime with Grace. It's always nice to have you. Good morning, Denise. Football Mom, Mama, Kentucky for Life, Life 4, Kentucky Life 4. Sorry about that. I'm still getting the crust out of my eyes. Maybe it's makeup. I don't know. Dreaming of blue skies, sandy beaches, Big Mac Mike up in the house. Michelle, it sounds like you're new up here. Wow, I'm up. It's nice to see you, Michelle. Sally, good morning. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Tammy, it's nice to see you. Deanna, it's nice to see you as well. Get my little old handy scroll button here. Oh, Outer Banks. Look who it is. Oma getting her first cup of coffee. And I'm on my second. I've been running around here like a crazy woman this morning. Kathleen, good morning. It's nice to see you. Who else do we have? Honey Dip. Faye, look who all just popped in. It's nice to see you. Good morning. So we got some updates. On some things here. So this morning's going to be a little crazy because, there has been some shakeups. I have been monitoring the stuff out in Minnesota. And as we know, the border agent, the chief, Greg Bovino, I think is his name, was sent, back wherever, and he's kind of, and the way it was explained is he's kind of in your face, and that's what he wanted. And the stuff that they've been doing out there has been tough work. They've needed people that were tough people to do a very tough job, and when you're under those extreme circumstances, obviously things happen, right? We lost 2 people. Renee Good, again, I think that she was listening to her wife. I think she was probably nervous. Either way, she jeopardized an officer and lost her life, and she's going to forever go down in the history books as a domestic terrorist. Now, with the nurse, I believe that he was absolutely at fault. I think we're going to find out that the situation's not going to change. We're not going to have an officer that is arrested or anything like that or facing anything. But were there procedures that may not have been followed properly? I think that's a good indicator here. And the reason why I'm saying I think it's a good indicator here is because, well, Greg Bovino packed his bags and had to leave the area. And he got one of his right hands to go out there and figure out what's going on. Now, this was just on the heels of Vice President J.D. Vance going out there, and he really tried to help, tone down. Oh, YouTuber, it's nice to see you. You're up awfully early. Excuse me, I gotta sneeze. Sorry. I've been having allergies. I took my allergy pill. But it doesn't change the fact that I keep sneezing. So either my allergy pill is not working, or there's something that's not blocking this whatever allergy I'm having right now. But I've been sneezing quite a bit this morning, so please bear with me. Anyways, I think that we can, just by the dynamic that's going on with Greg, got kind of going out and Tom Homan coming in. Now, Tom Homan he's served under a lot of different presidents, from, Republican, Democrat. It seems like people love Tom Homan. He's highly regarded and respected. Now he's working under President Trump. He's a good guy. So we're lucky that he is such a stellar individual. because most of these people aren't interchangeable from administration to administration. So I think Tom Homan is a gift to America. I really, really do. And just take that. Hey, Sandwich, it's nice to see you. Good morning. With what you guys would like to say. The Northerners, come take back your cold temperatures, Deanna says. I know. Listen, I had a friend come in yesterday, right? I only saw her for a few minutes. I never thought I was going to see her again anyways. But long story longer is, when Glenn found out about it at the meeting, he's like, why'd you have to bring the damn cold weather? And then you're saying that. It's like, yeah. I noticed Saturday that Florida was definitely had the snowbirds. It's definitely snowbird season because I do the same thing every Saturday. You guys know I get up here, I do my live. After my live is down, I pack up Delilah and I go over to my BFFs and we have a play date with the dogs. And her and I just kind of hang out with each other. So, this is just a, regular thing that we do once a week, right? And so I noticed that when I leave, if I leave at a certain time, I get it's wonderful, right? It's people aren't really getting up yet and moving around the roads. So I'm able to, get in the car and go over to the other side of the county fairly quickly, first thing in the morning on a Sunday or Saturday rather, at 9:30, 10 o'clock, I can whip right out across a 4-lane, highway without any problems. And so I get up there this Saturday and I'm like, damn, there's just cars going and going and going. And I'm just like, you guys know my patience. I got none, right? So I'm like, heck. I'm sitting there waiting for a clean spot to get my car across 4 lanes of traffic, right? And there's no light. So I'm just like, okay, well, and then I'm like, oh, maybe it's just a fluke, right? Maybe there's a traffic jam, right? And people are being detoured. Happens all the time. So might just been a fluke, right? Well, then I get to the bridges. Nope, not a fluke. They're here. They are here. We love our snowbirds. We love you guys. Okay. I just want to let you know we're not mean people. We love you. We just don't like you gunking up our streets. That's all. That's it. That's the only thing we dislike. It seems like every snowbird just has to go out on the road during rush hour traffic, either literally in the morning or in the afternoon. I don't understand. You guys are home all day. You don't have any jobs here. You guys can't get up super early or wait until the traffic dissipates before you say, okay, honey, let's go to the grocery store. At 9 o'clock 8:30 in the morning? Really? Yeah. You can't wait until 10 or 10:30. No, okay. Arizona is full too. But we love you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting our economy, Thank you for being, wonderful neighbors 6 months out of the year. We love it when your houses are empty. No, I need to stop. We love you, Northerners. We do. But we don't like it when you bring your cold with you. That's all. Sandwich like, no, keep the money. I keep the money. I don't even like going anywhere unless I'm seeing animals. Aw. I'm an early bird. Yeah. Not Saturday, though. Yeah, that's the only day. That's really, usually when I'm, throughout the week, like if I need something, I run up to the local Winn-Dixie. It's like right around the corner, or the Save-A-Lot, depending on if I want to bring my own bags and bag my own crap. I'll go over to the Save-A-Lot to save some pennies. But for the most part, I run over to the Winn-Dixie. I prefer having a Walmart, but that's across town. I don't feel like going across town because I don't leave my house, right? My venture out during the week is either at the county or at Laura's. Like I lost the flip-flops, the Kinko flip-flops. I don't know where they are. Well, I lost lost her earrings the first time. Okay, she bought me these beautiful gold earrings because she was sick and tired of me wearing those because I'm a cheap bee, right? And so I was going to be meeting Penn Badgley to cover a story with Chronicles of Olivia. And so she didn't want me meeting Penn Badgley. This is my BFF. She's awesome. She didn't want me meeting Penn Badgley with fake jewelry, okay? So she bought me hoops for Christmas, but she gave them to me earlier so I could wear them to meet Penn Badgley. And so long story short, I lost these for a little bit when I had returned. And so I bought some, I actually went and had to go buy real gold earrings because I didn't want her knowing I lost them. And I thought I but I couldn't figure out what they looked like, remember specifically. So these are just a little bit thicker than the originals, but she never noticed that. Well, until I started wearing two of them, she never noticed I lost hers. Well, maybe she did. She just didn't say none. My best friend is very detail oriented. She probably knew immediately I wasn't wearing her earrings, but didn't want to say anything or put me on the spot. So long story longer, I did find the earrings. They were in one of my drawers in the thingy. So now I just got to find the flip flop. I don't know what they must have been shoved under because they're flat. So they had to have went under something, and I just haven't figured out where the hell I was because I got a lot of stuff in this house, right? I mean, I'm decluttering the house. My office is a madhouse. I know my flip-flops aren't here because it'd be pretty obvious if they were. There's no place to put my flip-flops except somewhere right in the middle of the floor. So, and if they were on the floor, I would obviously see them because I can see my warmers. Right? I got warmers on the floor. You can see them plain as day. Plain as day. Hey, DeBoss, it's nice to see you. Good morning. We're just kind of kicking this stuff. So anyways, getting back to the Trump administration, we're going to read some stuff. We're not playing this. I'm actually watching this. But, excuse me, guys. I took my allergy pill this morning. My allergies are acting they're really bad today, and I don't know why, but I've taken an allergy pill and I'm still dealing with some allergies. I don't know why. Again, getting back to this, we've been following and monitoring the movements because when we're not getting real, because we do this with law enforcement, right? We do it with our true crime cases. When we're not getting the information or we don't know who to trust, what do? We watch the main players. Like normally we watch what law enforcement is doing to gauge us in where we are in this. So we don't have that. So I can only watch what President Trump's decisions are and what he's deciding as they're going through this. And I saw Greg Bovino be sent back to the border and, as the chief. And we saw Tom Homan going in. So that's telling me, that's signaling to me that Trump is not happy with whatever happened to Alex. So that's a key, it's key information. Now, I stand by my assessment of it. He shouldn't have been resisting. He put himself into a life-threatening situation. But many people had said something to the effect that they believe they saw an agent go in and grab his firearm moments before he was shot. And I said, well, we can't take that as I'd like to see body cam footage. Well, we're finding out that there may be none. You guys know how I feel about that. I'm going to be who I am, whether it's our side or not. And those body cams keeps our law enforcement, accountable, and it helps them. So it can help them and it can hurt them because it helps identify the truth. So anybody being out in a high intensity situation without body cam on, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. We've got enough money in the coffers. We can definitely outfit 3,000 individuals out there with body cams. I mean, I know they're expensive and I know it'll be an expensive situation, but we're not talking until we get the appropriations funds ran through. We're not talking about, and I'm not down with that. You guys know me. We need things to review. I will hold my side accountable as I hold other sides accountable. Like I said from the very, very, very beginning, we don't do ourselves any good by lying about facts, because if we lie about facts, it's to cover up the truth. Okay, in the work that I do, I'm one of those people that we need to throw everything on the table, see what the reality is, and then try to fix it, right? That's kind of how I think of these cases that we cover in true crime. It's how I think about politics. I think the people are tired of being lied to. If we make mistakes, we make mistakes. It comes with the territory. None of us are perfect. But it's identifying those mistakes and putting policies and procedures in place so those types of mistakes don't happen again. And that's kind of where I come from. I find it's the best policy. I think it's the best policy for America. It's the best policy for business. And if it's the best policy for business, it's definitely the best policy for America. So I'm not really liking it. Now, we haven't heard directly from Trump or the administration that there were no body cameras out there. It just seems like, that's the undertone with mainstream media. So I'm not completely bought into it, but it's definitely something that, if true, is at this point unacceptable in 2025. Our law enforcement should have body cam, and it's not because we don't trust at least for me, it's not that I don't trust our partners. It's that, when situations like this come up, we need to review it and make sure that everything was done correctly. It sounds like there's possibility of something not being done correctly. And even if that's the case, it doesn't change the fact he should never have been out there. Some people, anybody should be out there protesting. They should be protesting, but that's not protesting. What they were involved in is criminal activity. So they had a right to arrest him. He did resist. He put law enforcement's life in jeopardy. And unfortunately, he lost his life as a result of it. But there's clearly some things that were not right. And I think the reason why he sent Greg Bovino back to the border is because Greg Bovino was the first one that went straight to the cameras and basically said this man was out there to cause maximum harm to the agents without getting all of the facts. And if you notice something about Donald J. Trump, our president, it's that he likes to get the information and he likes to lead from a place of being informed. And Greg Bovino is the person that needs to be reporting stuff to him. And when it's reported inaccurately, it causes problems with the administration. And I think that's what it was. It was Greg Bovino was not getting all the facts and immediately going out there. And he should always stand up for his agents, but I think the way he stood up for him was incorrect at the time. And insensitive, quite frankly, and insensitive. Hey, Joe, it's nice to see you. But my standing is not the same, is still the same. Alec did this, he brought this on himself. Unfortunately, nobody did it. Just like Renee Good. She did the same thing. Unfortunately, she brought it on herself. She was toying with armed agents, and she ultimately put them and herself in harm's way. And she did not win that battle, right? Even though she had a big vehicle, but her wife will forever blame herself. Her wife needs to be in prison, in jail. She needs to be charged with her homicide. I'm sorry. I'm sick of the rogue judges in Minnesota, and something has to be done about that. But we'll get there. We'll get there. So what we have going on in this news cycle is we have Ilhan Omar. She was obviously sprayed with some type of thing at her event. Was this staged? I think so many people are asking, is this staged? Because there's a few things here. First of all, this guy seems like he would appreciate her policies, okay? And for him to attack, like I would expect if somebody was going to be attacking Ilhan Omar, I would expect them to maybe look like me, maybe look like a Black Panther, because they're not happy with some of the stuff. But, I don't foresee it being somebody that appears to be from the Middle East or something like that. Maybe he is Hispanic. I'm not sure. But it seems like he was sitting there and then all of a sudden he gets up and sprays something on her. But it doesn't affect her and she wants to continue. So I'm trying to, I just, the way it all happened in real time because it was recorded, it just didn't see. Okay, let me back up and explain it. Let me just take the PC out of it and let me just explain it the way I needed to explain it. I really don't care if you guys get offended how I explain it. So it just appears that all of a sudden this guy's sitting there and just how he approaches, it just looked so like horrible acting. I don't know. And I don't want to make fun of it or light of it because nobody in Congress, even Ilhan Omar, deserves to ever be attacked. The violence in this country has to come to an end. But yeah, it just, I looked at it and I'm like, what the hell's wrong with that guy? I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh about it because again, it's not funny. Nobody, let me be very, very clear. You guys know I do not believe in violence. I don't care if I disagree with somebody or not. It does not give anybody the right to take the law into their own hands. Why in the world would my dog be barking at 6:30 in the morning? Is there wind outside? Is it windy? Usually that's the only reason why she barks is if it's windy. 36, severe weather advisory. Oh, great. So it looks like sunrise is at 7:18. It's only 36 degrees here, but it does not showing windy. It's just showing very cold temperatures. All right. Oh, which is a great segue into. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button, folks, and come back and tell us what the temperature is in your area. Right now, it seems like we have a severe weather advisory until 12 a.m. Thursday, the 29th. We have another front coming in. Oh my gosh, Sunday. Oh my gosh, Monday. We might have ice or snow. Sunday and Monday is going to be 34 degrees. We have a front coming in on Saturday. It's going to be 65% chance of rain. It's going to drop our temperatures down to 38 degrees here. And Sunday, we're going to have gusts of winds. It's going to be 34 degrees is the low. And Monday, 32 degrees. I am very thankful. I don't know if I'm going anywhere next week, okay? We might be doing the show in our pajamas because you got this all week. I'm just saying. I'm sick of spoiling you. We need to get back in my pajamas and my bedhead Betty. I was a lot more comfy. I'm just saying. Eeyore says -2. Oh my goodness. Grave crime with Grace. 18. Melanie 7. So Grave, you're in Tennessee, right? And Melanie's in PA. Eeyore, I can't remember where you're from. Denise 25. 18. Omaha, Nebraska. Good gracious. DeBoss is 28 degrees with chances of snow. 21 here. 31. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's going to be cold. No bras allowed. I know, it's going to be one of those days. Well, we can't say that. I got tape, when I don't feel like, messing around or, getting, and I just, we got tape. Girls, this day and age, we have so many things. Like, there's no reason to have bra straps being seen this day and age. You guys should be having some comfy. I think it was a man that invented the first one. I didn't like it too much. I'm glad some women stepped in and started designing them. Okay, let's get to it. Let's get to it. So we've got, here it is. There is Ilhan Omar, the lady that married her brother, the one that changed the law to make the Somali fraud possible. This criminal, again, I don't like her, but I will never support violence ever. You're never going to, we may use hyperbole, here, like we might want to, we're from the Slapaho tribe, okay? We might do something like that. But in all fairness, hey OG, in all fairness, we do not believe in violence, right? We may be a little satire and a little hyperbole, but we're definitely not above those things. But actually physically being violent with somebody or promoting violence, absolutely not. And anybody that sprays something on somebody or makes that person fear for their safety is a monster, right? Ilhan Omar is a monster in her own right, but it doesn't give other people the right to hurt her. You know what? We do things lawfully, right? We're going through the proper channels to get her expelled out of our country. We're not going to go up here. We're not going to spray her. We're not going to hit her. We're not going to, violate her autonomy. We're not going to do that. We're going to raise our voices. If we want to call her names, okay. But putting your hands on her or making her ever fear for her life, like spraying something on her, is absolutely unacceptable in America. We as a society denounce that activity. We don't want violence in this country. We're doing everything to end the violence in this country. And whether we like somebody or not, we are still going to always stand on those moral beliefs, period.
Of the agency.
So we're going to watch this from several different angles, okay? And you guys will understand why, because again, I'm sorry. No, I'm not. I'm not sorry. It looks staged to me. But again, my message is clear.
ICE cannot be reformed. It
Look,
cannot
he's right
be
here.
rehabilitated.
He's right here.
We must abolish ICE for good. And DHS Secretary Kristi Noem must resign or face impeachment.
Like, even these people, they keep looking over at him. Like, I feel like everybody knew this was going to happen. Let's see their expression when these things happen. Now, there were a lot of people that pounced on him, which made it look, it makes me wonder, is this somebody that hated her? And why would he hate her? I don't know. I really don't. But it just, I'm sorry, it looks weird to me, okay? I'm just... There it is. She actually went to step up to hit him. Did you see that? What the hell are you gonna do? At least that's what it looked like. Let's watch. She lunged at him. She lunged at him with a closed fist. Woo! She lunged at him with a closed fist. This woman, she got some problems. I'm just going to say that to you right quick. I don't know if somebody's spraying that big old man like that, spraying something. You got security around and you're stepping to him? That's, the security stepped in. The security stepped in. But, I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is. That looked like, she doesn't look like a little, that woman's a dangerous woman. I'll tell you that. No woman does that. She pulled her hand back. Maybe it wasn't faked. She pulled her hand back like she was about to punch him. She gonna fight back. Well, she was advancing him. She was advancing him. He was the one backing up. That was weird. He's the one that steps up to her, and then they were slow, though. I know it was. Sending love to BHB and everyone, praying for whoever needs it. Hope everyone stays warm. I know, it's freaking cold. Did you see that? Look at her. Yeah, I'm sorry. This, like, dealing with my husband hiding his deeds. Fake, yeah. Still looks staged. It does look staged. The man was able to get close. Yeah, that is, again, that's the thing. No, somebody wasn't doing, it does still look staged. Let's go back and look at this. I mean, this really does look like bad, scripting. So they have subdued him.
I don't know.
Oh my God. Oh my God, he sprayed something on her.
I need a napkin to know nothing. No, we will continue.
No. Ilhan, you need to go get checked.
No, we will continue. These fucking assholes are not going to get away with it.
You need to go get checked.
That lady's got some anger issues. I can tell you that just by look this right here. This lady isn't what she looks like on those screens, because I'm telling you, I know people's behavior. I know how women act in a scary situation, and she's using foul language to boot, like they're not going to effing get away with this and stuff like that. Who are they? Because that's not a Republican. So who are they? Somebody's after her. Who? Who are they? Security should never have been sitting down. You're absolutely right, but we're not going to get into that. Polka Dot, it's nice to see you. Cold in Nashville. I know it's cold everywhere. So let's look at a different angle. Let's see if we can get something a little different. Here's the angle of them wrestling. And I still don't understand why it took all of these people wrestling him. It seemed like the one guy had him down. You only needed about 2 people, and now you got 15 people and a cameraman. Look at that. We can't miss the cameraman. Can't miss the cameraman. Good gracious. What is wrong with people? Look at that. Cameraman right all up in there. All up in that face. Look at that. Look at that. They got cameras. This is a Kodak moment. This is not a security threat. This is a candid camera. I can't believe he's all up in there too. Look at him. Look, way over here. Like, oh, let's get this on tape. He's got some substance we don't need, but come on in, guys. Let's make sure we get the right angle. Let's get the right angle on this. Good gracious.
President's crosshairs for really months here. He's ramped up criticism of her for a long time.
Okay, let's go.
Tensions are still.
I don't know.
Oh, they didn't get it from this angle. I wanted to. Oh, hold on. There he is. Look at it. Look at it. It just looked weird. I mean, what the hell was that? And not only that, but he seemed a little antsy. They should have already had a beat on this guy. But you know why? We watched him from behind. Okay? He was a little too, it seemed like he should have caught somebody's attention just by his movements in the chair. But, again, we do not believe in violence. We don't want any politician to ever feel that they are in harm's way. That's not the American way, okay? It really isn't. What we do is when we have grievances, we take to the street in lawful protest. We take our fight to a court of law. What we don't do in America is take the law into our own hands. None of us do that. Okay? We walk the walk, we talk the talk, we demand better for this country. But at the end of the day, when we don't get what we deserve, there's other diplomatic ways. And I can tell you, I prefer court orders over a firearm, over intimidation, over anything. If I really have a problem where somebody, if you don't believe me, go ask Queen Bee, and that's no pun intended. But when I've had it, I take you to court. Why? Because I would rather take you to court than act in vigilante justice. Because I gotta tell you, me and vigilante justice, we might like each other too much, okay? And I know that, okay? I am from the true crime genre. So I control myself. I know that once I put my hands on you, I'm probably not going to stop. So what do? Right? I take you to court. Why? Because it keeps me right with the Jesus Christ upstairs and the good Lord. Right? That's why. It keeps me right with the good Lord. Do we all have anger in us? Do we all want to act in that? Yes. But we're also human beings that are trained to control ourselves. And so that's what most of us do. We restrain our own inner beast because we believe in the law. We believe in law and order. And we believe that when we have grievances, we don't take the law into our own hands. We take it to the law, right? And hands and feet. Oh, if we have a court of law or police, time to bring military in. You know, I've been bouncing back and forth with that. I think we're over the hump. You know, like I said yesterday, I really think that we're over the hump with this whole situation that's going on in Minnesota. I think they wanted to fight with the federal government, and quite frankly, I think they violated federal law. I think that both Mayor Fry and Tim Walz should be arrested. I'm so sick and tired of the 2 tiers of justice in this country. There's no reason why people that vote like me should do more prison time than people that don't. When we commit the same types of crimes or do the same types of things, or even worse, Don Lemon deserves to be adjudicated for his crimes. And he's got a wall of justices and stuff like that are corrupted, that don't believe in the law being applied to everyone equally. And those judges are committing cardinal rule issues, ethical rule issues. And when they fail to follow the law, they should be impeached from their bench. When you start really looking at their way that they have voted all before, and then only this person here they've changed their position on, or they won't enforce the law for this person, we have a major problem in our judiciary. When we have an infection in one of the 3 branches of government, we have a big problem. And right now, we have an infection in our judiciary. And we have got to get that corrected. I don't know how to get that corrected, but this comes down to the fake voting machines. These people were installed. And we need to find out truly how long these machines have been flipping votes. We need to talk to Maduro, and we need to either have an entirely new vote cast, or we need to start impeaching some of these illegitimate people and installing the people that properly won these races. But I don't think we're going to ever find that out, because once the vote's changed, it's changed. And I'm pretty sure they've destroyed the evidence at this point. That's why it was so critical for the capture of Nicolas Maduro. He was the kingpin of these fake votes, not just here in the United States, but all over the world. They've been doing this all over the world. So now we're going to get moving into this case where we're still trying to find out what happened to Alex. What happened that made law enforcement fire their weapon? And I think it's because somebody started screaming gun. I think that somebody may have, because I'm reviewing it, you can't really tell. I don't want to assume that an officer came up and relieved Alex of his firearm, maybe failed to tell the other agents. So again, a lawful shoot because they were in fear for their life. That's the only requirement to use lethal force. So they're right there, but maybe protocol wasn't followed because maybe the officer should have let the other people know he relieved Alex of his firearm. This is kind of where I think we're going to be going with this case, but I don't know because we only have the videos we have. I can tell you that he was resisting, so I'm going to always stand by that this was a lawful, self-defense situation. If you're ever out there, and this goes for the people that are rioting out in those streets, if you're going to continue to riot out in those streets, then at least follow lawful commands. If a law enforcement officer is giving you commands, do not fight with him. If you are going to jail, go to jail, bond out, and fight it in the courts. If you fight agents or put an agent in fear for their life, they are justified in using lethal force. So please, I don't want to hear you cry victim. You all know the rules. We all know the rules. Ignorance to the law is not a defense. It's not a defense. So no matter how we look at it, Alec did this to himself. It's unfortunate as it is, but nobody put him in that position but himself. Now, what happened with our law enforcement? They know that they're in high tense situations, and they know that it's a volatile situation, and to use the most discretion as possible. Those are the orders. You want to use as much discretion. You don't want to just willy-nilly be throwing all these people in jail. It's a lot of paperwork. It's a lot of headache. But the ones that are truly interfering with the investigation, they've gotten the go-ahead to go ahead and arrest and file charges against them. He was obviously doing that. They were going in to make an arrest, and he resisted. He had a loaded gun on him. It doesn't matter whether he brandished it or not. He's resisting arrest with a loaded gun. He put all of their lives in danger, and he lost his as a result. So I just want to make sure we understand that. But with that being said, we also want to know what's going on in the investigation, and did our law enforcement do everything that they were supposed to do? And, as the information is coming out, I feel that there may be some things that weren't followed exactly the way that they should have been. Would this have saved Alex's life? Maybe, possibly. And we need to look at those factors, because at the end of the day, it's the position of this channel that we always try to save life, not take it, right? There's going to be situations where our law enforcement has no choice but to take a violent criminal out. And we expect them, we don't want them to second guess themselves. If they're in a life-threatening situation, we expect them to use lethal force to save them. Why? Because they're our law enforcement. We put a lot of money, a lot of taxpayer money in the training of all of our law enforcement. It probably costs every single county or city or state about $250,000 to train our law enforcement per person. It's not a cheap process. So we give them the tools to save themselves, just like we have laws that every single one of our citizens have a right to defend themselves. And they can defend themselves if they're in fear for their life, including, but not limited to, lethal force in those limited circumstances. So we have to keep that as the focus here, because, again, I believe Alec was in the wrong, but I also believe there were some mistakes that put our agents in the wrong, or at least mistaken as well. So there's two sides to this. There is more information coming out, and we have to be honest with everybody about what happened, because if mistakes were made, I want them corrected. I want policies made, and I don't want it to happen again, right? I don't blame law enforcement. I watched the kind of conditions law enforcement's working in, okay? The only people that are responsible for these two people's deaths, in my opinion, is the state of Minnesota. And I hope that both of these victims sue the state of Minnesota for wrongful death, because they put their own citizens and residents in harm's way for illegal criminals. It's deplorable, it's disgusting, and it's not leadership. It's insightful, and it's an insurrection. These people should be charged with insurrection. The lieutenant governor, the governor, his daughter, the lady that sets up his whatever. Anyways, let's keep going. So, two U.S. Custom and Border Patrol agents fired their weapon during the fatal shooting of Alex Pretti over the weekend, according to a government report sent to Congress and obtained by CBS News that does not mention Pretti reaching for his firearm. So there was no It doesn't indicate that he ever reached for his firearm. The report, and again, that's not a requirement for law enforcement to use lethal force. We all know that. The report was shared with congressional officials Tuesday by CBP, which obviously, this is why we don't trust our Congress, because it sounds like it's possible this may have been leaked. We'll find out. Which said, based on preliminary review by the Office of Professional Responsibility, it provides the most comprehensive official account yet of Pretty's killing, which has triggered widespread outcry from members of both parties. According to the report to Congress, CBP agents were conducting an operation in Minnesota on Saturday morning when an officer was confronted by two female civilians blowing whistles. The officer ordered the women to move out of the roadway. The report said that's when CBP agents first encountered Pretty. The CBP officer pushed them both away, and one of the females ran to a male, later identified as 37-year-old Alex Jeffrey Pretti, a U.S. citizen, the report said. The CBP officer attempted to move the woman and Pretti out of the roadway. The woman and Pretti did not move. The CBP officer deployed OC spray towards Pretti and the woman. CBP agents then attempted to take Pretti into custody, according to the report. Pretti resisted CBP personnel efforts, and a struggle ensued. During the struggle, BPA yelled, "He's got a gun," multiple times, the report said. Approximately 5 seconds later, a patrol agent discharged his CBP-issued Glock 19. A CBP officer also discharged his CBP Glock 47 at Pretti. After the shooting, a DPPA advised he had possession of Pretty's firearm. So after the shooting, a BPA, I don't know what a BPA, Border Patrol agent, advised he had possession of Pretty's firearm. CBP added the BPA subsequently cleared and secured Pretty's firearm in his vehicle. The new information provided by CBP differs from the initial accounts offered by the Department of Homeland Security, which said in a statement over the weekend one Border Patrol agent had fired defensive shots. So now they're saying it was two agents. So yes, the statement initially was inaccurate. In that statement, DHS also said Pretti approached the CBP agents with a 9mm semi-automatic firearm, but CBP's report to Congress makes no claim that Pretti tried to reach for his firearm. I never got that. When I heard the Border Patrol agent say he approached them with a firearm, I took it as he approached them. This is stuff that's after the fact. They approached him, approached one of the officers, and he had a loaded gun, and he did have a loaded gun on his persons. I don't think he never indicated that gun was brandished, so I never understood it as being a brandished gun, and we never stated that here. When we said it sounds like he brandished a gun when we were just going off initial reports, but when we saw Greg Bovino on here and what statements he said, we went back and rewound and said, okay, well, this is a true statement, this is a true statement, and this is a true statement. It sounds like somebody misrepresented the statements that he made. I never heard him say that he approached them with the firearm brandished, the firearm being in his hand. That was never stated. So everybody else assumed that that's what Greg Bovino was saying, and I didn't get it that that's what he was stating. So I don't know. I guess it's interpretation of the words and how the words were stated and how somebody digests those words, and what those words mean to their brain. In the statement, DHS also said Pretti approached the agents with a 9mm firearm, but CBP, we already read that. Okay, so In hours after the shooting, DHS Secretary Kristi Noem alleged that Pretti approached federal agents with a gun in what she described as an effort to kill officers. The Border Patrol Commander Greg Bovino accused Pretti of trying to massacre law enforcement, allegations that did not appear in the official professional responsibility report. But, those two people, hearing them say that, we don't know what reports they had received or what the officers had put in the reports that they reviewed. They are talking heads. Neither one of them were at the scene when these things happened. So, it makes me wonder, did somebody inappropriately report what happened on the ground to Greg and Kristi? That would be my first question. But allegations that did not appear in the professional responsibility report. The government's response to Pretti's death, a second fatal shooting by federal agents in Minnesota this month, has drawn intense scrutiny in recent days as videos of incidents appear to contradict official complaints that Pretti approached law enforcement with a gun. I would like to see this report that CBS has instead of them telling us what's in the report. Why can't we review it for ourselves? Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara, which I don't trust, has said Pretti was a lawful gun owner with a permit to carry a gun, but he didn't have his license to carry or his driver's license, which means he was unlawfully in possession of that firearm in accordance to Minnesota law. The report does not state that Pretti's gun discharged accidentally. So we did ask that question. I had heard through the grapevine that it sounds like maybe his Alex Pretti's gun fired. And it seemed like one of the fires came from the direction he was. And so, which started off the whole boop, 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 right? And so I wondered that. And I even brought that up, that I heard that there's a possibility that happened, but I was unsure. And I just wanted to let people know that I have heard it, but I don't know one way or another. And so they're addressing this here about, was it, did he accidentally discharge his firearm? And one theory that has circulated in the wake of the shooting was alleged that Pretti was carrying a dangerous and unpredictable gun that goes off when people don't know it. It also revealed that U.S. Customs and Border personnel removed and stored Pretti's firearm in a government vehicle, a decision now raising broader concerns about the integrity of the investigation. According to the CBP, well, obviously it was his gun. I mean, they have to register guns. I mean, if they're trying to say that, this was because it was stored in a government issued vehicle that somehow they planted the gun. I mean, Minnesota, he obviously is a gun owner. He had 2 clips, and that gun is going to come back to him. So I don't want to hear, this is what I can't stand with mainstream media. They're implying this. They're not outright saying that they believe that the Border Patrol, planted evidence. How in the hell are they going to plant evidence, a gun that's registered to the victim? Unless they had the person's keys, sent somebody to their house in a matter of 30 seconds to acquire a gun and a clip from his closet just to put it into a government issued vehicle that never left the scene. I mean, it's frustrating. And his parents told him, exactly, his parents told him not to go, told him not to engage with the Border Patrol. He chose to do this, and he chose to actively engage and taunt them. And from my understanding, I heard that the autopsy revealed that he had broken ribs, previously broken ribs. It sounds like he's been hunting these patrol agents, and there was another incident previously with the Border Patrol agents where they shoved him, and apparently he must have fallen into something and broke some ribs. So he was out there, just like Renee Good, much more than just this day and just this split second. He was out there taunting them, out there following them, out there being part of a signal group. So, people want to look at, oh, he was an ICU nurse just going to work. No, he wasn't. He was actively breaking federal law for multiple days in a row. So let's stop with this I have to swallow because he's dead, that I somehow have to lie to my audience about what really happened for this moral thing. No, I don't. The bottom line is he put himself in a position. He's now deceased, and his mom and daddy are going to have to live with this the rest of their life. And it was because he was brainwashed by higher education. He was instructed by his governor and mayor, and now the poor boy is dead. Okay? This has nothing to do with Trump. This has nothing to do with immigration enforcement. This has everything to do with the crap that's going on in Minnesota. This is not happening anywhere else. They think they're thugs in Minnesota. Well, let me be very clear to the governor and all of them. You are not thugs. And if you are thugs, we put thugs in jail. That's what we do. We put thugs in jail. So the report does not state that Pretty's gun discharged accidentally. One theory that circulated in the wake of the shooting. It's also revealed that U.S. Border Custom Patrol, they put the firearm in a government vehicle. And let me tell you, when you secure a vehicle or when you secure a firearm, that's protocol. Just to make sure you understand. What they did is protocol. So why this would raise broader discussions about the integrity of the investigation, I have no idea. According to CBP reports sent to congressional officers, the border agents reported taking possession of Pretty's gun immediately after the shooting and later clearing and securing the firearm inside the vehicle. The report does not specify whether the weapon was photographed in place or logged with a documented chain of custody at the scene. So CBS News previously reported that federal investigations have no documented chain of custody of Pretty's handgun, with officials saying the firearm was placed on the seat of the vehicle rather than sealed in a required plastic evidence bag and labeled with standard identifying details. If the gun belongs to the man, it was on the man. We see a gun being removed. We see two, clips. These are whatever. Protocol. We're used to defense attorneys on this channel. We're used to defense attorneys using these gray areas to try to find a defense or blame somebody else for the poor decisions of their client. The report to Congress confirmed ICE Homeland Security Investigation Branch is investigating the shooting, a move current and former agents officials describe as a highly unusual for an office that has historically not investigated use of force incidents. The report says CBP Office of Professional Responsibility is also reviewing the incident. I'm pretty sure that they are, who's quitting? Sadly, he went out in vain. No good reason. Yeah. He didn't quit his job. That was fake news. I have investigated that thoroughly. The whole thing of him being fired and him having those incident reports of poor behavior or unusual behavior, those were from a fake news site. Now, was he employed at the time of his death? I'm not sure. Everything I've read has indicated he was a nurse at the time of his death, working for a company that he had been at for quite a while. But, again, I never know what to believe when it comes to mainstream media. I just don't trust them as a reliable news source anymore. And then, of course, with AI and all of these different pop-up, accounts on Google running bunk information, you got to really search. So I really don't know, but I do know for a fact that he wasn't fired. He didn't have those write-ups. I confirmed it with reliable, like the Hindustan Hindustan publication, which is really good. I like that one. And they have a report saying that information is from a bunk. It was from fake news. So the report describes these things. They're saying that Homeland Security doesn't usually investigate these. But it seems like there's multiple branches of our government are doing a review and investigating this case. And just like we have in our true crime cases, this is where we excel with understanding this stuff and explaining this stuff to our audience, because we deal with multiple investigations going on. For example, Sebastian Rogers, there's an investigation at Sumner County. There's another investigation at TBI, and there's another investigation at the FBI. They're all running, even though they're law enforcement and they work together, they're all running independent investigations for this missing child. So, us hearing this person doing this investigation, this person, and maybe Homeland Security doesn't do these investigations, but maybe Donald Trump trusts the Homeland Security and wants to know what their report is. And he wants them to report directly to him about what's going on, because he doesn't want to be bamboozled. He is sick and tired of getting word salad. He wants somebody that's going to tell him what's really going on, and you got to understand, when you're a president, you are gatekept very, very, very well. And, you're only provided what your team is telling you in many cases. Donald Trump watches a lot of news. He watches a lot of social media. So he has his hand on the pulse when it comes to other things. But I got to tell you, if Homeland Security is investigating this when they don't normally investigate it, it's because it's a request from Donald J. Trump. He wants to know what happened. And I respect that, because when you know what happened, you can make decisions to fix problems. If there are problems, or we could have done better, right? We could have done better. But I absolutely support law enforcement, and I'm not coming off of that. Even if they did something wrong or didn't follow protocol perfectly, I'm not coming off of it, because at the end of the day, this man put himself in a dangerous situation and he lost his life as a result of it. If he wasn't in the road and he was following commands, he would still be alive today. His poor decisions is what took him to that morgue. And I'm not going to be easy on that, whether they're dead or not. If they do stupid shit, I'm going to be up here saying they did stupid shit. They did this to themselves. These notifications reflect standard custom and border protection protocols and are issued in accordance with existing procedure. They provided an initial outline of events that took place and do not convey any definitive conclusion or investigative finding. They are factual reports, not analytical judgment, and provided to inform Congress to promote transparency. So the full report is below. We're going to read it. Are you guys ready? If you guys ready, put a clappy hands, thumbs up, or a hallelujah in the chat, and we'll start reading. The full report is as follows. The following statement pertains to any in-custody death that occurred on Saturday the 24th in Minneapolis, Minnesota. This information is based on a preliminary review by U.S. Custom and Border Protection, Office of Professional Responsibility, Investigative Operations Directorate, and may be updated and classified as additional details become available. It is being provided to committee staff concurrently with CBP senior leadership to ensure timely reporting. CBP OPR IOD established the following information and timeline based on preliminary review of body-worn camera footage. So we do have body cam out there. So if anybody was concerned whether we have body cam footage or not, there it is, right there. So thank you. That's one thing I don't have to worry about, because you guys know how I felt about that. I opened it up with that's not this day and age. On January 24th, 2026, U.S. BP Border Patrol agent and Custom Border Patrol protection officer supporting Operations Metro Surge were conducting enforcement action near the intersection of Nicollet Avenue and 26th Street in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Several civilians were in the area yelling and blowing whistles. BPA and POs made several verbal requests for the civilians to stay on the sidewalk and out of the roadway. So they had been provided multiple times, stay out of the roadway. And that is standard operating procedures, okay? I'm a professional protester, been doing this for well over 10 plus years. And the one thing we do not do is get into the road. We stay on sidewalks, public easements, public property, but we do not get in the roads. We do not engage with law enforcement. We do not interfere or disrupt any type of investigation. We raise our voices from the appropriate spots. That's protesting. That's lawful protesting. What these people are doing is criminal conduct. Criminal conduct. I know that because I'm in this field. This is my wheelhouse. Protesting is Bullhorn Betty's wheelhouse. Okay? What they're doing is criminal conduct. So they had already been provided lawful commands multiple times. At approximately 9 a.m., CBPO was confronted by two female civilians blowing whistles. The CBPO ordered the female civilians to move out of the roadway, and the female civilian did not move. The CBPO pushed them both away. One of the females ran to a male, later identified as Alex Jeffrey Pretti, a U.S. citizen. The CBPO attempted to move the woman and Pretti out of the roadway. The woman and Pretti did not move. The CBPO deployed his pepper spray. I don't know what it's, OC spray, whatever. CBP personnel attempted to take Pretti into custody. Pretti resisted CBP personnel efforts and struggled ensued. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Who saw Alex struggle with law enforcement? If you saw Alex struggle with law enforcement, put a 1 in the chat. If you don't believe what he was doing was struggling and resisting arrest, please put the number 2 in the chat. I'll wait here just for a few minutes. I got to refill my coffee anyways, if you guys want to refill your coffee. Good news is the coffee house is right next to the office. Little caramel espresso, first thing in the morning. Oh, yes. Okay. So you guys get my point. He was resisting arrest, and you guys do understand that that is a crime, right? It is a crime. So he committed a crime where they had a right to arrest him. Then when they went to arrest him, he resisted. So now he has one crime. He committed one crime, right? And interfering and obstructing a federal investigation. And now he's got another crime of resisting arrest so far without violence. Now, actually, he's resisting physically. Resisting arrest without violence would be giving them, saying, I don't have my license, and giving them a false name. That was resisting arrest without violence. But actually struggling with them, that would be resisting arrest with violence. And if any officer got injured, whether it's a bruise, hit, punched, during that's battery on a law enforcement officer, which with him struggling, I'm pretty sure he could have been charged with battery on a law enforcement officer to boot. So now you've got a federal obstruction charge, you've got resisting arrest and battery on a law enforcement officer. So let's not act like this nurse is completely innocent here. Okay? We counted 3 crimes. 3 crimes, major crimes that would have landed this man in jail for about 10 years. Okay? So let's not get it twisted. We're here about the truth. We're here for the truth. And unfortunately, sometimes the truth is ugly. Sometimes the truth is painful. Okay? Sometimes the truth hurts. All All right, so now we're getting here. So they said that a struggle ensued. During the struggle, a BPA yelled, "He's got a gun," multiple times. We heard that. Approximately 5 seconds later, a BPA discharged his Glock 19, and a CBPO discharged his Glock 47, both at Pretti. After the shooting, BPA advised he had possession of Pretti's firearm. The BPA subsequently cleared and secured Pretti's firearm in his vehicle. At approximately 9:02 a.m., CBP personnel cut Pretti's clothing and provided medical aid to him by placing chest seals on his wound. At approximately 9:05, Minnesota Fire Department Emergency Medical Service, emergency medical, or EMTs arrived and assumed primary medical care for Pretti. At approximately 9:14 a.m., the MFD EMT placed Pretti in the EMS ambulance, and he was subsequently transferred to Hennepin County Medical Center. At approximately 9:32, HCMC medical personnel pronounced Pretti deceased. So it sounds like, he made it to the hospital before he was found deceased. CBP OPR IOD was advised that an autopsy would be conducted by medical personnel from Hennepin County Medical Examiner, and will request the official findings upon completion. Homeland Security investigation is investigating the incident, and CBP, OPR, and IOD is reviewing it. The Department of Homeland Security Office Inspector General was notified. So that is how everything rolled. You guys heard that. That was they weren't placing blame on anybody. That was a report that goes to Congress so they can identify what happened. Again, nobody's placing blame. The investigation is not over. Did officers act inappropriately? I don't know. I wasn't there. Neither were you. Okay? And we can't see. We love you, Betty. Stay well. Thank you. Let them 66. Big hugs and loves to you. Big hugs and loves. I hope you're doing well. I hope everybody's staying warm themselves. I'm about to go out and freeze my ass off, at least for a little bit until I'm in the building. Once I'm in the building, I'm there for the remainder, and it's good. So, thank you. I hope you guys all stay nice and toasty as well. Delilah hasn't even come and asked me to go out. I think she's feeling the cold. She got a potty pad. I don't think she wants to go out because she's just curled up on I got to have the heat on. I think she's cold. So anyways, so I'm not really willing to, because, when it came down to Renee Good, I was unsure with that until I looked at all the angles, but I looked at all the angles within an hour. I had my decision made up with her. She did take her car and run it at an agent, and she did hit him. I saw the hit. And when I saw the hit, that was it for me. She did this to herself. Nothing's going to have me step down from that. And so this case is much similar to that, where he put himself in a position to get himself killed, and he ultimately lost his life because of the decisions he made. Nobody makes these decisions for these people. None of us are out there doing it. Okay. When we advocate for somebody, it's for a good cause. We're advocating for a victim of crime. We're advocating to bring a child home. We're not advocating for a bunch of freaking criminals that don't even deserve to be in our country. Okay. And, they're humans. They are humans. They're individuals. You're absolutely right. But they can be individuals anywhere in the world. We're not taking away their life. We're kicking them out of our country. They don't belong here. They didn't come here the right way. Okay. If I came into your home uninvited, you would be calling the cops and having me removed. Okay. It's no different. And if you have a bleeding heart, by all means, go and take one of these murderers or child arrests and take them home with you and put them around you and your children. I'm pretty sure if you're not dead and your children aren't essayed, You're going to be in jail for putting those children in danger if you're not, again, if they didn't go in the middle of the night to you. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the bleeding hearts, okay? If you want people here, do it the right way. Otherwise, it's not my problem. It's not America's problem, okay? Let's be honest. This is not our problem. Just like the crap going overseas, it's not our problem. You're here, we have laws to remove you, we're removing you. You don't like it? Don't come here unless you're coming here the right way. Pretty simple shit. And as a matter of fact, I don't even want anybody moving here anymore. Our country is full. It needs to be closed for business. The only thing that we need to be bringing here is other businesses to our country to replenish all the jobs that we shipped overseas. That's it. Once we're done with that, we need to shut it down. There's no need to have all these people coming into our country. Well, for what? For what? If they're this smart, tell them to start changing their own country. You know? We had to do it. Very simple to do. No, it's not. No, it's not. Okay, Mr. Stephen.
One of Trump's top aides on immigration, Stephen Miller, is admitting tonight a possible breach of protocol by the officer who shot Alex Pretti, which is a pretty stunning thing to come out of this administration, especially given
I don't like that
what
lady.
they said initially. It comes as Republican Senator Tom Tillis, whom you just heard slamming Kristi Noem, has taken on.
Tom Tillis, if you're in the state for Tom, don't vote for that crackpot anymore. Okay, we need to get these old hacks out of our Congress. Okay, people are entirely too old. Okay, Grassley is 92 years old. We're waiting for his heart just to stop. He's gonna wake up one day and not be there. Okay, why? Because he's 92 freaking years old. Why the hell is anybody in our Congress at night? Your brain does not function anymore at that age. Look at Mitch McConnell. He's being wheeled in. The hell is that man going to do for this country? Please, what the hell is that man going to do for this country? When you start hearing people staying in Congress that long, it's for power. It's no longer for the American people. Chuck Grassley has got to go. Tillis has got to go. McConnell has got to go. Rand Paul has got to go. Not because he's old, just because he's a freaking annoying gnat that wants to constantly vote with the Democrats. He's not a Republican. Get him the hell out of our side. If he wants to run as a Republican or a Democrat ticket or an independent. Massey, he's got to go. You guys in Kentucky are causing a lot of problems for a lot of people around this country. And I'm going to tell you, you guys want those marijuana bills, right, Jim Higdon? You guys want those marijuana bills passed. But I'm about to tell you, I'm almost ready to shut the marijuana industry down with a bunch of people and start getting them to go against that if you're going to keep getting these two people in Congress. Massey's got to go. Rand's got to go. McConnell, he needs to just go retire. He just needs to go retire. I'm sorry. He's got to go. And I don't trust this lady here. This lady here is a freaking joke. An absolute joke. I'm surprised that she's even employed.
Stephen Miller.
Stephen Miller is in the same boat. This guy, after doing the stupid comments he made about Greenland getting the president.
This North Carolina. Does this surprise you? Does this surprise you, North Carolina, to have some a-hole like this in your state? North Carolina, this man has no room to talk. Of all states. He's a representative of North Carolina that seems to throw all of their criminals and insane people out on the streets to murder their residents. That we needed to actually pass Congress in North Carolina just to do the right thing and lock these animals up. And he wants to sit there and criticize President Trump. Dude, go sit down. What the hell are you doing? Who are you? Maybe if you would help people in North Carolina, maybe they wouldn't have been sitting as little, just to be picked off. Sitting ducks to be slaughtered by all the criminals you guys let out of your jails. Love to hear what this guy's got to say. Let me guess, he's really tough on crime, huh? from North Carolina? Okay.
A terrorist before he'd even talked with anybody on the ground, and that's clearly not the case now. So, I mean, it's just, I mean, Stephen Miller never fails to live up to my expectations of incompetence.
Yeah. That's rich.
That's a pretty stunning thing.
That's rich. That's rich, Mr. Tillis. I think maybe Bullhorn Betty needs to go to North Carolina. I really do. That guy really just rubbed me the wrong way. I don't like him. Maybe it's too much plastic surgery. He's another Vern Buchanan. Thank God. Thank God. Guys, if you're from the state of Florida, Vern Buchanan has decided to frickin' retire. I can't stand that man. I can't stand that man. I can't stand that man. He's another. A man that worries about their appearance so much that they go and get plastic surgery and hair plugs. There's something wrong with you, okay? I can understand women, but dudes? Yeah, you probably bordering on that narcissism side of things. Just saying. Just saying. Probably bordering on. I mean, when a guy, I always had this. When a guy stood in front of the mirror longer than I did, I'd break up with him. He ain't my kind of guy, okay? And this Tom Tillis and that Vern Buchanan, they ain't my kind of guy. They were taking my mirror time. They're taking my mirror time, okay?
To hear a Republican say, right? Stephen Miller never fails to live up to my expectations.
Come on, Aaron.
Kristen Holmes broke this news about Miller. She joins us now from the White House. So, Kristen, what are you learning right now?
Yeah, Aaron, this is quite stunning coming from Stephen Miller, who, of course, has been one of the most...
Oh, my God, I'm so overly, just offended that you can't get a damn thing right in your fucking life. But we're going to say, oh, my gosh, we're so shocked at Stephen Miller. Really? Stephen Miller shocks CNN? I bet, when Stephen comes out, I'm like, I bet he's about to say this. I bet he's about to say, it's predictable what he's going to say. And they're shocked? You're shocked. Okay. All right, cupcakes. Now you guys know why I can't stand white liberal women. This right here. Ugh. Look at her. Oh my God, I'm so shocked.
Hardline immigration enforcers when it comes to President Trump's administration. He is essentially conceding or acknowledging that there might have been a breach of protocol when it comes to the shooting of Alex Pretti. And just a reminder, this is the same person who said that Pretti in the aftermath was a would-be assassin. This is what the statement says, and he lays this out very clearly. It says that the White House provided clear guidance to DHS that the extra personnel that had been sent to Minnesota to force protection should be used for conducting fugitive operations to create a physical barrier between the arrest teams and the disruptor teams. It goes on to say, we are evaluating why the CBP team may not have been following that protocol. So
it's an insignificant protocol that they're holding their hands on. Oh, they should have been the line of defense between the operation and them. And they were. And then somebody decided not to follow orders and resist arrest, and there you have it. So, maybe that wasn't followed, but that didn't lead to this man's death. He led himself to it. So they're going to be trying to pick all these insignificant points that don't change the fact of what Alex did and the reason why he's laying in a morgue right now, right? It's still not justifying his behavior. It's still supporting that they had every right to send him where he's at. So far, I haven't seen anything from any report or any talking head that disputes the fact that he put himself in this position, and the fact that we haven't heard that law enforcement did anything right. And as a matter of fact, the chief of police in Minneapolis even said that we may find out that this was completely justified, but it doesn't even matter. And that's the truth. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that their government incited these residents to take arms and fight the federal government. And if I was this man's parents or family, I would be suing Tim Wall's office. I would be suing Jacob Fry's office. I would be suing the Minneapolis Police Department. That's who I would be suing. They've got deep frickin' pockets. They've got real deep pockets. And they are the reason this man, as well as Renee Good, are dead. There is nobody more responsible than their state government and local government. Period. If you don't believe me, look at the laws. Actually, look at the laws. Don't have this crazy crackpot white liberal bitch tell you about the law, because I can guarantee you she's going to lie to you.
The first piece of news that we're learning here from Miller. The White House is looking into this and that they're acknowledging there might have been a breach of protocol. But there's more here. We had learned that Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem had been in constant touch with the White House leading up to her press conference, leading up to the first tweet that DHS put out about the shooting of Alex Pretti. She had been talking to Miller. She had been talking to a number of various officials. She had briefed them on how...
Let me explain this to you. How did this all get whacked out? May have a lot to do with why Craig Bovino went back to the border. It sounds like somebody misinterpreted some information, and it made the administration look bad. Does it change the fact that this was a justifiable shooting? It is my position, with everything we learn right now and we have seen, that it has not swayed that position. For me, it still appears he was justified. They were justified in this shooting. Now, it should have never come to a shooting. Let's talk about that. Like, this man should have never been in the road. This man should have never had a firearm while he was actively resisting, a loaded firearm while he was actively resisting law enforcement. How in the hell is law enforcement supposed to determine that that is not a lethal threat? I think anybody, any normal human being that sees somebody struggling with somebody and them being armed with a loaded handgun, I would have to think that anybody, that would be elements for anybody to fear for their safety and life, i.e. justifying discharging of one's own firearm. And so this is the dangerous game that you play when you have a government trying to insurrect the federal government. You're going to have casualties. Remember, Tim Walz was at war with the federal government. The federal government wasn't at war with Tim Walz. Let's get that fixed real quick. Tim Walz is the one that said, I've never been at war with the federal government. I've never been at war with the federal government.
And the breaking news, there's brand new witness video showing the minutes leading up to the fatal
believe
shooting
Wolf
of
Blitzer either,
37-year-old
whatever his name is.
ICU nurse Alex Pretti by a federal agent in Minneapolis. The video does not capture any violent action by protesters or Pretti himself. And that's contrary to how some members of the Trump administration characterized the scene. Several of them said it was a riot in which Pretti assaulted federal agents. Not true. Watch closely. And
I disagree. Who believes that resisting and fighting with officers on the ground, isn't that violent? Because it seemed pretty violent where I was sitting. Did you guys see that? What would you describe? Let me ask this. What would my audience describe that as? When you're actively resisting arrest, when they decide to arrest you, like, seriously. What do you call that? It's violent to me. This is very violent to me. I believe that he was obstructing a federal operation. He was resisting arrest, and he was resisting arrest with violence. We had just covered that. It is violent. What I saw was violent. He could have just stopped. He could have just let himself get arrested. He was fighting because he didn't want to be arrested. They were going to take him to jail one way or another. But again, he wouldn't be dead today if he chose to leave his loaded firearm at home when he decided to actively obstruct and break the law. You don't get to lawfully carry a firearm to defend yourself when you commit crimes. And that's what he was doing. Resisting arrest is violence. It is. The only way you can resist arrest without violence, again, is telling a law enforcement officer the wrong name or some other lie. It's not violent, but because you're Mary Smith instead of Joe Smith, you get to walk. But if you would have given him Joe Smith, they would have seen the 15 warrants for your arrest. That's resisting arrest without violence. This is considered active resistance according to use of force continuum. You use 1 + 1 theory. Thank you. So there you go. This is, okay, passive resistance is resistance without violence. Yeah, that's it. So at the end of the day, what this Wolf Blitzer guy is saying is factually a lie. He was violent. He was actively resisting arrest. He was being arrested. Let's repeat that again. He was being arrested. 20 years as a cop. Well, we appreciate your expertise. But I'm on the side with law enforcement. At the end of the day, it's unfortunate this man was dead, but we can't have our law enforcement second guessing themselves. Okay, that is dangerous. That is very dangerous to have a cop with a firearm and they're scared to use it. And that is what this environment is trying to do to these officers. They're trying to break them. We are going to support them. What was provided to them in that environment by the state, it put all of those law enforcement officers in jeopardy, and it put their citizens in jeopardy, and they did not care. They wanted their citizens to arm up and go out there and start fighting in the streets with ICE. That's what they were encouraging in that state. Tim Walz deserves prison. His daughter deserves prison. His lieutenant governor deserves prison. The AG deserves prison. Mayor Fry deserves prison. Right along with the dirtbags that robbed that state and infiltrated that state unlawfully. Right next to every single one of them. That's where the entire Minnesota government belongs.
With 2 officers, you'll then see 1 officer push Pretti.
Yeah, they had a right to.
They're legal observers. You can't do
See?
We should warn you that this next part of the video.
They keep saying they're legal observers. These people think because they are legal observers, they have a right to break the law. You're not a legal observer if you're breaking the law. You're an illegal observer. Observation is from a distance. You have no business impeding a federal investigation and then hollering, you can't do that. That's a legal observer. Well, if you're a legal observer, your ass would be on that sidewalk lawfully, not out in the streets illegally. There is that. So let's not get it twisted. Whoever's training these people are responsible for their deaths. These people are trained. That Alec, we're going to find out, probably trained much like Renee Good.
Video is disturbing. As the scene unfolds, you'll see several agents swarm toward Pretti. Pretti is on the ground as bystanders shout for the agents to stop. And then you'll hear a total...
Oh, so because the people around there want them to stop, they have to stop making an arrest. How stupid are you people? How stupid is CNN? CNN is so irresponsible, it's time to start suing them because they are a contributing factor to why these 2 people are dead. Pretti family, good family. Here's some deep pockets. You guys know how I'm about. I'm all about lawsuits. I'm all about keeping people accountable financially. I'm all about it. Because you start taking money from their mouth, they start correcting that behavior very, very quickly. You start threatening their livelihood because of all the lawsuits, you'll find corrective measures happen organically. When we start fighting back with the courts instead of vigilante justice, you find out how quickly things get undone that were quickly done, right? We need to fight smartly, not poorly.
New video showing more of the minutes before the shooting death of Alex Pretti, where you can...
Now, I want you to hear the environment that they're working in. Could you work in that kind of environment? That's making these agents feel unsafe and be extra vigilant and cautious. People are trying to run them over. People are actively trying to break into their hotels to hurt them. These people are trying to kill our officers, so they are on guard 24/7. And then we have people like Wolf Blitzer, or whatever the flip his name is, and his co-host, the bimbo, right? And they come on here and say, I can't believe they did this. Never once denouncing what they are having to work in. You know why? Because these people are only here for one thing and one thing only: to keep their laundering operations up and for votes. To steal our money and to stay in power. That's it. So now you know why they're willing to take their own American citizens and use them as weapons against these federal agents, because they can't do it. Why? Because they know that the only reason why they imported all these people to flood our country was for votes, so they can steal federal funds, keep it covered up, and stay in power to maintain the cover-up. That is the only purpose for this. If you think there's any other reason, please send it out. Send it to me, bullhornbetty@gmail.com. I'm always interested in people's perspective on these topics. But I can promise you, this is for power and money. This was the biggest epic laundering scheme that many other states followed suit with. And they did it on even a bigger and grander scale, such as California. We found their pocketbook, and now they're fighting to keep it open while we're trying to close it. I'm telling you, this is bad stuff, folks. This is bad stuff. Okay, so we have a little bit of information on the fraud that's going on in Minnesota, which kicked off all of this violence. Had there not been a fraud, and again, we never had all of this violence until the fraud, but they did realize they were caught, and it wasn't just them, it was all the politicians. All the politicians were so comfortable in the fraud because they had been doing it for so long, they didn't cover their ass, and they were caught.
Minnesota whistleblower David Hoke to expose alleged fraud in the state.
Right here, state of Minnesota, where are the kids? They got paid $1.26 million in fiscal year 2025. It says they have a capacity for 74 children.
When?
Where are the kids? Right here. What was this money spent on? 1.26 million. What was that money spent on? There aren't any kids. It says you have 102 children here, and you got $2.66 million this year in funding. We're just wondering where the kids are.
David Hoke joins me now for his very first interview on the Fox News channel. David, I was very excited to have you on here. When you listen to that new footage that we've heard for the first time of Ellison saying the U.S. policy in Somalia will help Somalia stabilize, I want to work on the Somali side of the equation, does that surprise you? Because you have said that you think politicians turned a blind eye to this fraud that you found.
Well, it does not surprise me. And you know what's interesting is when you talk about Keith Ellison, he's not from Minnesota, he's from Detroit. Jacob Fry's not from Minnesota, he's from Virginia. The police chief of Minneapolis is not from
installed.
Minnesota.
They're all
he's
installed.
From New Jersey. His wife's a Muslim cop in New Jersey.
They're all installed.
The mayor of St. Paul is not from Minnesota. And so it plays into this whole contention that I've made that this fraud framework was set up by the Democrats. And what I believe they tried to do is when the Hmong population was brought into the into Minnesota in the late 70s and early 80s, there was a huge influx of the Hmong. And I think the Democrats thought the Hmong were going to fit the playbook for committing all this fraud, and they didn't. The Hmong said they were honorable people. They're not going to be involved in this. And so they had to find another group. And so they got the Somalis, and they fit right into this framework of fraud, and then they just ran with it.
So David Hope, earlier in the show, we talked about Somali groups out in Maine that were receiving donations, private donations that were intended for shooting victims. And they claim, well, those weren't intended for shooting victims. That was a separate fund. But nevertheless, I bring this up. Do you think this is a problem beyond Minnesota?
It certainly is a problem, at least nationwide and maybe worldwide.
Somebody get that out.
And what I can say with confidence is that if it involves the Somalis, it was incubated here in Minneapolis. They tested out these programs to see what they could get away with. So they started with child care, and then they went to home health care, things that nobody ever checks. Nobody from the state of Minnesota ever goes and verifies how many kids are at the child care, what is their ethnic origin, because when you get federal funds, which is what these child cares are getting, it's CCAP, which is a child care assistance payments. That's a blend of federal and state money. And the Civil Rights Act of 1964, Title VI, says that if you receive federal funds, you cannot be ethnically exclusionary.
Wow. So that means it just can't be a whole bunch of Somali kids. It's got to have American, black, white, brown, Hispanic, Latino, Irish, Asian, right?
You can't be discriminatory in your practice. And I said, well, the way I think the Somalis are getting around that is they don't have any kids at all.
Wow. Well, David Hope, we have some breaking news we have to get to. Just on our way to break. First, I know your life.
How many of you guys are ready to go set up that wonderful? I think we would be great babysitters for a day. We would educate the non-brains of the non-students that we have sitting at our non-tables in our classrooms while we're collecting a couple $1 million. I don't know. I think that's like a sweetheart deal. I think we should all, move to Minnesota. I'm ready to start taking care of kids, especially the kids that don't even show up. It's great. I get paid per head. I'm going to have 1,000. We got room for 1,000 fake desks. So let's go for 1,000 fake children. You right? That's what I'm talking about. I mean, hell, if 79's $1.2 million, right? We should be bringing in. That's a year. We should be bringing in about a few $1 million a month with 1,000 heads. I don't know. I'm ready to go to Minnesota. I'm ready to be a daycare owner. I'm not ready to do the 10 to 20, but I'm ready to have Bullhorn Betty's coffers a little bit fuller than they are right now. I mean, I'm just saying. Which brings us to a next thing. If you guys would love to, help out, you guys can do that. Super chats, super stickers, right? If you'd like to share it, thumb up it. It all helps Bullhorn Betty, since we don't have a daycare and all, we got to keep the lights on somehow.
Has been threatened. You have security at your home. I hope you stay safe. But final question, I just have a few moments. We do have to get to this breaking news out of your state, but you're testifying before the Senate next week. Is that right?
Well, it was delayed because of the impending storm, so it was going to be the 28th, and it looks like it's moved to February 4th, but I am testifying, yes.
Okay.
Testifying before Congress. We got 2. Where are we on time? Shoot. I think we're running out of time. I'll try to get through this. It's just first few minutes, and then we got a couple of true crime cases, which I'm probably not going to get to. We'll have to get to those. We'll have to get to these later today when I come back. So we'll go ahead, since this is all part of, the scam and everything there. So let's listen to what this guy is Daniel Whitmore. And he got we're not going to take too much, just a few minutes to discuss for discussion purposes at the beginning of this. So
waking up tomorrow and discovering that someone stole your entire life savings. Every penny you've worked for, gone. Now multiply that feeling by millions of Americans. Because what I'm about to tell you is so massive, so brazen, so absolutely jaw-dropping that when you hear the numbers, you're going to think, I'm making it up. I'm not. 9 billion Dollars. Let that sink in for a second. Not 9 million, not 900 million. $9 billion of your money, taxpayer money, has vanished into thin air in Minnesota, and federal prosecutors aren't calling this just another fraud case. They're calling it the largest pandemic-era fraud scheme in the entire history of the United States of America. Now here's where it gets really interesting. While Governor Tim Walz was on national television as Kamala Harris's running mate, telling America how great Minnesota was being run, his state was being systematically looted. And right in the middle of this disaster, Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, the same Ilhan Omar whose personal wealth somehow exploded by 3,500% in a single year. The same Ilhan Omar who took campaign donations from people who are now convicted felons sitting in federal prison. You cannot make this up. And before CNN and MSNBC start screaming that this is just another partisan attack, let me tell you something. 78 people have been indicted. More than 50 have already pled guilty. 7 have been convicted at trial. These aren't allegations anymore. These are convictions. This is real. Let me paint you a picture of what's been happening in the land of 10,000 lakes, or as I'm now calling it, the land of 10,000 scams. This all centers around something called feeding our future. Sounds nice, doesn't it? Feeding children? Who could be against that?
It's always about the children. I tell you about that, right? And that's what annoys me. It's why I'm moving to have Amanda Ballard out of the commission, because she didn't do her research, and she put cameras near the schools, which cost a lot of people a lot of money. And our staff, they manipulated the data, and I brought the real data, but it's for the kids. So let's go ahead and tax our citizens thousands upon thousands of dollars for bullshit. And that's where it comes down to women for me, and powerful positions. We need people with backbones and not to be manipulated by the kids, right? And so I don't have patience for it, because, I need somebody in the position that's strong, that knows how to make tough decisions. And right now we got a lot of people that don't know how to make the tough decisions. And we need those tough decisions. They want to go with the easiest, less resistant way. That's not leadership. That's not leadership. And that's what I find out happens with women a lot. And you guys can beat me up, and I don't care. But I've been assessing this stuff for a really long time. There are alpha females that know how to kick ass. Kristi Noem is one of those. She doesn't take no for an answer. No matter how tough it gets, she has her shit-kicking boots on. Those are the type of women that needs to be in high-power positions, the ones that can get the job done. But people like Marsha Blackburn, she doesn't need to be a senator. She has no backbone. She's too sweet. We can't have that in Congress. It's eat or be eaten. Okay? And she's going to vote wrong because she has no backbone. Okay? It's time to get those people out of Congress. And I just have problems with women. They're too vindictive. They don't get their way. They want to do something, and they don't even think what they're doing before they do it. Then boom, once it's done, it's over. So it is what it is. I have my opinions. If it's offensive, I apologize. I'm not trying to be offensive, but I'm not going to change my mind because it offends you.
Well, as it turns out, the only thing they were feeding was their own bank accounts. Here's how it worked. This nonprofit claimed to be distributing meals to needy children during COVID. They'd submit reimbursement claims to the Minnesota Department of Education, which would then pay out using federal dollars. Simple enough, right? Except there was one small problem. They weren't actually feeding children. They were creating fake invoices, fake attendance rosters with made-up children's names, claiming to serve thousands of meals from tiny storefronts that couldn't possibly handle that volume. Get this, one small grocery store claimed to serve 3,250 children twice a day. That's 6,500 meals daily from a corner market. Over the course of just 1 year, this single location claimed to have served 1.4 million meals and received over $4.2 million. Does that pass the smell test to anyone?
it just shows you the blatant, and I think that's what's the problem, is that we're seeing without a doubt that this was well known, and the people that were there to protect the citizens from this type of fraud were in on the fraud. That's the only way that you can kind of look at this. So guys, we do have some problems in this country, as many of us know. It sounds like tensions are starting to come down in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and in Minnesota itself, because our federal government's done playing. If they're sending in Tom Homan, it's to get things under control, or we're going to be calling insurrection. That's the way I see it. I don't see any other purpose for Tom to be in the area but for this, and I think that's the reason why everybody's having great conversations, is because it's gotten to that line in the sand, like you're either going to start helping or we're going to come in. And I think that's what Tom Homan was sent out there to do. And he was sent out there to let them know what's going to happen moving forward. So, and I think part of that is when you guys step up to the plate, we can remove these agents. So it's a win-win for everybody. Mayor Fry can go out there. I told them to get out of our town, and they decided to leave because I'm such a tough guy, right? So I kind of expect Fry to be acting like that. But I expect the governor to kind of know his role. I mean, his whole entire office was just caught insurrecting the federal government. I mean, his lieutenant mayor is an administrator in one of the anti-ICE rooms that were providing low-key locations to ICE agents. Like, that's an insurrection from the government, okay? You've got your lieutenant governor as an admin and your community whatever, the community person that gets the community together for community outreach director. So those were the two admins in one of these, and probably a lot of these anti-ICE rooms. Administrators. That means they were running the channel. You guys understand that, right? They were running the channel. So we have Tim Walz, lieutenant governor, running an anti-ICE doxing signal account with his community outreach director. I can see why all of a sudden Tim Walz is like, well, hello, President. Can we have a can we have a conversation? I think there was just a little bit of a misunderstanding, President. I'm certain we can work something out. And President's like, yeah, I bet so, you asshole. We gotcha. But we love President Trump because he's the man of the art of the deal, or should we say the art of blackmail. Dun, 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 dun. I'm just joking. President Trump ain't blackmailing him. President Trump's going to get everything out of him and still try to throw him in jail. Yeah. All right, guys, that is a wrap. It's almost 8 o'clock. I got to get out of here. I got to go do some stuff for this county. I've got to try to block a horrible developer. If you guys are part of Manatee County, please come out. Today is the land use meeting. That means you have to be there in person. You cannot call on the phone today. We have to be there. They blocked our Canopy Road initiative because of some language. They decided to be cowards, because I talked to our Senator Jim Boyd. Our Senator Jim Boyd says that they are using this as a cop-out. They're using this as a cop-out. His specific words, cop-out. So I'm going to make sure that my commissioner knows what our senator said. And hopefully we can get that ordinance back on the books, because I'm ready to fire our county attorney. Once upon a time, Attorney Clegg would say, I don't recommend this because of this. However, if you're going to do this, this would be my suggestion, right? So he gave them the option to do it or not do it. But he would give his recommendation. I would not do it. But he gave them the option. If you do it, I would set it up this way. This lady's like, oh, we can't do it. Who the fuck are you, lady? Who are you? You're our county attorney. Like, I'm ready to fire employees, and we got a county attorney thinking she's a commissioner running the county. And, I'm done. I'm done. Whatever we've got to do to put people in office that can get this county under control is what I'm willing to do. Okay? I can't do it. All I can do is work really hard to get people installed where they need to be installed so we can run a functioning government. That's it. And it seems like there are a lot of people in this county just like me that just wants a functioning government. So hopefully we'll see what happens. We need a lot of help. So again, if you're a Manatee County resident, it's time for you to start standing up and getting out there with us and helping get this stuff under control and holding our commissioners accountable. You can do that. If you can't drive out there, you can write emails, you can send letters, you can make phone calls. You can do a lot of things in your big, beautiful time to help advance stuff around this country, around the state of Florida, and right here in Manatee County. All right, guys, rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe, but more importantly, kind to one another. God bless.